This is an extract from A Useful Guide to Hypnosis, published by Pansophics. Post-hypnotic suggestion. A post-hypnotic suggestion, which in many ways is the same as a future pace, is another very important concept in hypnosis. And it applies to hypnosis, coaching, training, anything of that sort of ilk. And the basic premises is this: I can learn something in a classroom environment or a one-to-one environment because I'm in the right state and it's fun and it's enjoyable. And let's assume it is all those things. And of course, when I leave it, because I'm going out into the outside world, which might be a different state, I can actually leave all the learning back in the classroom. And this probably happens more time than we realize, especially in the sorts of important things in life that we're talking about. So what would be really useful is a way of taking that learning and almost locking it in, anchoring it to some future, to some real time in the future, so that that learning reappears exactly at the time it will be most effective to you, or to me, or to your client. And the way of doing that is actually very simple. It's getting us, me, you, your client, to imagine, say, being in a particular state, carrying out a set of behaviors at exactly the right time that it will be appropriate to do so. Let me give you an example. Maybe somebody's developed a habit where they get nervous presenting. And they actually run a routine where, say, as they get up to present, they look at the audience. In looking at the audience, they imagine past audiences that maybe looked bored, that maybe didn't relate to them. They then start feeling a bit sweaty. They then feel a tension in their stomach. They then look at the audience again through that lens of feeling a tension in their stomach. And by the time they've got up there, they feel absolutely crap and not in the right state to give a really good, easy, comfortable presentation. So one of the things that we can do is, well away from the presentation environment, we can actually in their own mind get them to imagine walking up to a group of people, but in this case substitute, rather than what they've developed that is not very useful, develop a strategy that is useful. They see the people, and they immediately recall a time, sometime in their life, they did something really brilliantly. Sometime in their life where they connected with people in a really powerful, positive way. And maybe as they step forward, they can imagine in their mind in a previous presentation where they really did get clapped. They really got huge audience approval. And as they walk up still further, that somebody cuts in just to remind them to find somebody in the audience who's smiling and smile back at them. So they build up a series, a sequence, a strategy of useful behaviors as they go up to present. And you get them to master that and play that through lots and lots of times in that absolutely safe environment of a learning session, a training session, a coaching session. However, what you want them to do is to make sure that they actually apply it in a real life situation in the future. It just doesn't become theoretical learning, but as I said before, they leave in the classroom when they leave that particular session. So what you want them to do is to think of a safe, secure, useful time in the future, maybe a presentation that they know they've got to give, and maybe a presentation and they know the room that they've got to give it. And you then get them to imagine, to future pace, to imagine them just walking into that presentation, in that environment, with that audience, carrying out the new set of behaviors. And it doesn't matter if it doesn't work, because they're still back in the classroom. But you get them to rehearse it enough times so that they are genuinely and honestly, in their own mind, feeling good about it. They can imagine what it will feel to get off their chair, to look at the audience, to find somebody in the audience that's smiling at them. Smile back. Then notice somebody else in the audience that's smiling. Walk up. Begin to glow inside in that special way. Wait a few seconds so the audience can change their attention and focus on them. And then give that good, natural, honest presentation that will get the results that they want. And the really interesting thing is, if you can get them to rehearse going through that process enough times so they're genuinely doing it comfortably in that imagined future environment, when they get to that future environment, it will trigger in. You have actually you help them install a strategy sometime in the future, and because they have mentally rehearsed it, it's that strategy that will kick in, not what they used to do before. So to get maximum value of any learnings in a hypnotic session, in the coaching session, in the training session, you want people to connect their learning by imagining them actually taking part at a time in the future. Thank you. This is NLP trainer and business coach Michael Beale, thanking you very much for listening and reminding you that what you have just heard is an extract from A Useful Guide to Hypnosis, published by Pansophics. Pansopphix. Thank you.